yogi.
Hi, welcome everyone to Movement Yoga. My name is Mark Cormier. I'll be practicing with Kathy Cormier today. If anyone would like to see any specific pose or sequence you enjoy or a part of the body to focus on, please put it in the comment section. And let's get going. You ready, Kath?
I am.
All right.
Just getting water.
Excellent.
For one day.
Well, I'll welcome you onto the stage here. I don't think anyone's joined us yet. Having said that, a lot of people watch us in recording. Cool. So, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. Thank you.
Excellent. Anything you'd like to focus on today?
Oh boy, staying calm amidst lots of uncertainty.
Oh, we have the exact right pose for that.
Okay. Shavasana.
Shavasana.
Excellent. I'll wait 15 minutes for that pose. No.
All right, let's. Shavasana is a great pose to relax, but a lot of time we have some excess energy we need to work out first.
That's right,
and
anxiety.
That's what the first 47 minutes are all about.
Let's work out our anxiety, yes.
All right, so let's find our feet, hands on hips. I'll suggest working nice and wide as we march it from side to side. And then staying grounded through 2 feet as we swing it from side to side. Now finding your center vis-a-vis side to side. Now rocking it front to back as we lift the toes and lift the heels. Starting to engage our core to keep our balance. Strong and steady core helps, I think, with anxiety because we have a strong and steady center we can always come back to. And then staying grounded through the toes, grounded through the heels as we rock it front to back. And then finding your balance vis-a-vis front to back. Let's let arms hang down, just letting those shoulders relax. A lot of times when we do get a little stressed or anxious, we tend to collect shoulders, tension in our neck and shoulders. So let's release that tension here as we inhale the arms up to the ears. Not the arms, the shoulders rather, yeah. And then on the exhale, just let those shoulders drop. And let that exhale come out through the mouth. So inhaling, arms up by the, or shoulders up by ears. Exhale, just let it drop, yeah. Just a few times. And then the next time, just letting those shoulders be heavy on rib shelf. From here, let's work our neck a little bit as we look up and down. And just back and forth. I'll invite you to visualize a tennis ball in back and a tennis ball in front. And you're rounding up and over the circumference of each ball. So even though we're finding flexion on both sides, we're still feeling a sense of length in the neck. And then coming back up, lining up the ears over the shoulders over the hips. Ears, shoulders, hips over heels. From here, let's bring hands to heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Keeping those shoulders relaxed long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. If you're comfortable with closing your eyes, and just watching as our breath flows in and out. Whenever we're a little bit wrought, we can always come back to this place, just observing our breath. As goes the breath, so goes the mind. Let's start to lengthen as we shape that breath. So long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. And keep going like this. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to bring the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each sideways, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to start to engage your abdominals as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out. More importantly, with that abdominal engagement, providing structural support for our back as we move through these shapes and sequences. To this deeper, fuller breath, moving towards a go-to breath in many flow practices, the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. As we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice. Last two details before we start to stretch and move. I'll invite you to take the tip of your tongue to the hard palate just behind your teeth, keeping that connection throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, lifting the chin, hands by our side. Keeping the feet nice and wide, we're going to inhale the arms up overhead, not too tight. Exhaling, arms back down. So as soon as you start to notice your shoulders, hunch up towards your ears. That's about as far as you go. And back down. And let's do one more like that. Breathing, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Adding a forward fold. Inhaling, arms up. On the exhale, keeping the knees soft as we hinge at the hips, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back, hands can cap the knees. On the exhale, folding again, hands can catch the back of the shins. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Again, not too tight. Exhaling, hands back down. Two more times like this. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down as we fold. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. One more to go here. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, folding. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, moving towards a neutral spine, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Sun salutation A. I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy. Don't worry about the frame too much. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine, I will not cue vinyasa as you find your down dog. And take your time, rounding down through one hand and then the other, stepping one foot back and then the other. As we hold this down dog, I'll invite you to walk your dog as you bend one leg and then the other, grounding down through your opposite heel. And either just working with your legs or maybe adding a little swing of the shoulders, a little sway of the neck. Just seeing how you feel this morning. What feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. From a place of movement, I'll invite you to move back towards relative stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep, full breath. Despite the lack of overt movement, you're still breathing, your heart's still beating, your mind's still moving. And by focusing on your breath, finding a little more space between each breath, each beat of the heart, each thought. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, feeling a little more space in your low back, and then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Awesome, beautiful jump. Take a breath to arc the back when you arrive. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold again. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Second one just like the first, however, I will cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as you ground on down and keeping the elbows soft as you find your push-up with or without the knees. Yoga style elbow shave ribs. Take your time. Inhaling either into cobra, the hips stay down, or lifting the hips up for your up dog. And then rolling over the toes, finding your down dog. Another option might be all fours. You might sneak in a child's pose. Always balancing your effort with your ease. As you hold down dog, we'll see who's here this morning. Welcome, Renee. Welcome, Rose. Welcome, Vera. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, hands over head pose. And on the exhale, standing tall. Let's do one more sun salé. We'll throw that moving plank into the mix. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold and grinding on down and either stretching straight back to down dog or cycling through vinyasa. And I'll give you all a few breaths to get there. So again, take your time. Find your flow. Follow your breath. Feeling free to hold your down dog, feeling free to sneak in a child's pose, feeling free to find all fours. Otherwise, generating more tapas or heat, I'll cue a moving plank. Inhaling forward to plank pose. Exhaling navel to spine as we bring it back to down dog. 2 more times like this. Inhaling forward to the plank. Exhaling, drawing it back. This last one will hold. Inhaling forward to the plank. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. And then on that next exhale, back to down dog, navel to spine, as you lift your hips high. How are you feeling, Kathy?
I'm feeling great.
Excellent. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling, folding again. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun salutation B. I'll invite you to stay sideways, Kathy, at home. Face whatever way you'd like. We'll start it with a chair. Knees over toes, hands overhead, finding your flat back. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, glutes engaged, supporting a back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to arc the back. Really dip back hard there, nice. On the exhale, rounding the spine as you puff back hard. And then grounding on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Deep, full breaths. You can always leave the push-ups out. Beautiful up dog. And then back to down dog. Flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a three-legged dog, right leg high. High on the left toes as we stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. And then looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for your warrior one. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Take your time, find your flow. From down dog when you're ready. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. Inhaling. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge back to down dog, as you will. Take your time. Let your breath be your metronome. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in and as your Ujjayi breath flows out. Feeling free to stay wherever you are. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump front. Take a breath to arc the back. Yeah, really dip back heart. That's nice. On the exhale, puffing back heart as you fold. Inhaling, finding your flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead as we come back to our chair. That's right, stay low. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. Let's do one more sun style B. Flow style. We'll add a hip opener. I'm going to move Tazzy here. Here's our down dog for today. There she is. All right, finding your chair pose. Inhaling. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you arc. Exhaling, arching as you fold. And grounding on down and making your way back to down dog as you go.
It's okay. She's fine.
We'll figure it out, yeah.
Yeah, let her just do her thing. We'll work around her. It's awesome. You're sweetie. She'll figure it out.
So flow style, big toes touch,
Here we
heels
go.
slightly apart.
She just wants to play. It's totally fine.
Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, letting the weight of the leg open up that hip. Now pitching that knee even higher, engaging your glute, and then looking between the hands. Bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. Exhaling, back to your low lunge, spinning back heel up, and then back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, yogi's choice. All right. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, letting the weight of the leg open up that hip. And then pitching that knee even higher, engaging that glute, and then sweeping that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side. And then overhead for your warrior one. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge back to down dog as you will. Following your breath, moving through space with grace. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands, pressing down through the base of the fingers as you draw the center of the palm up towards the shoulders. Neck long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Arcing the back. That's it. On the exhale, arching the spine. Really tuck that chin. You'll get a nice stretch in the low back. There you go. On the inhale, coming back to your chair, finding your flat back, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, glutes engaged, half back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. I'll invite you to face camera, Kathy, as you bring hands to heart. A light press of the thumb against your sternum, lining up each finger. Relax shoulders long through all sides of the neck. A soft tuck of the chin, watching as your breath flows in and out. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by your side. Now, if your feet are hip width, nothing needs to be done. If they're not, either stepping or jumping them so. Working with our fire breath. As we inhale the arms up in front, palms can face in. On the exhale, we can spin the palms out as we bend the knees and cast the hands back. Short, sharp exhalation out through the nose. And we'll do 8. Couple more to go. Last one. And then back up and either stepping or jumping it in. Awesome. Now you're going to challenge your balance with that tighter stance. Totally good choice. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding our chair pose. Knees over toes, hands overhead. Yeah, thank you for going sideways. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. Finding your back bend at the top. The city lights pose. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you arc. That's it. Exhaling, arching as you fold again, and then making your way back to down dog as you will. Great use of the knees. Love the adjustment of the hands. And then back to down dog. You might even want to adjust those hands again. Yeah. From here, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Keeping right shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs as we stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. And then pitching that knee even higher. And then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. Inhale. Awesome. From here, I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. If you're as long as you're going to get, and you look pretty long here, you might stay right here. Otherwise, you shift weight onto the front foot and scoot that back foot back a little bit for a little more stretch in your legs. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front. Hands find the shoulders. We can relax our shoulders and square our heart front. Now finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. Keeping that sense of space across heart and throat chakra as we stretch those hands high. From here, pulling silk thread, straightening the front leg without locking the knee. Inhaling, we don't want to rip the threads. Exhaling, cactus arms 6 times, breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. I think we're halfway done here. Breathing in. Breathing out, cactus arms. 2 more times, breathing in. Breathing out, last one here, breathing in. Breathing out and holding cactus arms. I'll invite you to ripple your fingers as you keep your hands supple. Just enjoying the stretch. From here, let's move towards Warrior 3 Balance Challenge. Hands find the hips. We can spin the back heel up for a big step in. Starting to balance on that right foot, almost like pouring water into a bucket as you pour your weight into that leg. Back foot gets light. Keeping the knee of the standing leg soft to help with the balance. Hands either stay on hips or you let those arms hang. Just let those shoulders relax. And then very naturally, just starting to swing those arms forward to back. Keep the knee of the standing leg soft. Just adjusting your balance, dynamic balance here, as opposed to static balance. And then when it feels right and good, sweeping those hands forward and lifting the face to look through those hands as if you're looking through a large glass ball. I'm suggesting just a little more energy in the hands. Yeah, it's going to help with the balance. From here, arms in front, come back to the hips. We can soften the front knee for a big step back or a small step. And then you can always adjust your stance. Using our hands on our hips to turn Warrior 1 hips into Warrior 2 hips as we steer the hips sideways. We can kick the back foot in for a little bit of a narrower stance. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a mixture of effort and ease. From here, I'll invite you to paint rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, inhaling. On the exhale, warrior two. Let's do 6 of these. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Last 2 here. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one, holding. As you reach up higher, you reach down further, finding more space between each rib with every breath, and spreading your fingers wide as we find more space in our hands. Turning the reverse warrior back into warrior two. Now finding your rainbow warrior, you might grab a strap or a towel, otherwise a clasp of the fingers behind the back, shoulder blades back and down onto rib shelf. And then challenging your balance with a deep forward fold inside the front leg. You might park the torso on top of the thigh or letting the torso hang free. Wherever you choose to work, relax neck, heavy, heavy head. As we hold the rainbow warrior, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway. Inviting any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. Now in our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as you bring it on up. Coming back to your warrior two, one long arm. Moving towards extended side angle pose here. Backhand finds the hip. We can ground forearm on top of the thigh, palm faces up. Another choice might be to find a brick or bricks outside the calf. Do you want to use bricks or do you want to keep your arm where it is?
Yeah, I'm good keeping it.
Okay, so the bricks will be there. You don't have to use them. 3 steps on the top arm. We're going to just let it hang down to the ground. Relax shoulders. Yeah, a little swing, a little sway. And now stretching that arm away from your body, so 90 degrees, more space in that shoulder. And you're going to keep that sense of space as you stretch that arm front. Spinning the palm in and maybe lifting the face to look into the palm as if your palm were a mirror. From here with the breath, let's circle the hand back as we trace it with our eyes. Exhaling, letting the shoulders soften. 2 more times like this. Breathing into extension. Exhaling into flexion. 1 more time this way. Breathing in and breathing out. And then we take those circles the other way. Inhaling as we lift that arm high. Exhaling as we let the shoulders soften. 2 more times like this. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And then finding your extension and holding. Strong back leg. Long through the leg, the torso, the arm, the fingers. Try to relax your brow if you can. Yeah, don't stress. There it is. From here, moving towards your half moon. Top hand finds the hip. We can take a big step or a couple of steps in. Setting your base, feel free to use a brick or not. Right hand off to the right. And then like you're pouring water into a bucket, we'll start to pour weight into that standing leg. The hip orientation is different than warrior three. Hips face the side. We can use that top hand to rotate our ribs, opening up that top shoulder, and then stretching that hand high to the sky. And you want to think shoulder and arm together, so the more that arm moves back, the more that shoulder opens up. So you might go, actually that looks great, Kath. A lot of times people will fling the arm back and the shoulder stays kind of frozen, but your arm and shoulder are working together very nicely. Either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky here. You want to try to bind the moon?
Mm-mm.
No, not today. Okay.
No, thank you.
Top
Maybe
hand.
next time.
Maybe next time. Top hand finds the hip. We can soften the knee as we take a big or a little step back. Coming back to your warrior two. Yeah, feel free to adjust yourself in the frame. At home, you don't have to do that. And from warrior two, a big windmill of the arms. And there's different ways to windmill. I'm a single arm windmill, or if you want to do a double arm windmill, go for it. And finding your low lunge. Just spin that back heel up. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. You can take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. Welcome, Catherine, or welcome, Mary. So we're going to go straight to our second side while we still have the sequence fresh in our minds, but to keep our blood up, our breath up, let's work that moving plank pose again. As we inhale forward to plank pose, On the exhale, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. A couple more times. Breathing in, coming forward. Breathing out, drawing it back. Inhaling, coming forward. We'll hold this one. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. And then on that next exhale, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. And we'll start with that same hip opener. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now pitching that knee even higher, and then sweeping that left foot through, spinning the back heel down. Finding your warrior one, arms out to the side, and then overhead. From warrior one, I'll invite you to bring hands back onto hips, and just see if you could go a little bit longer. If not, you stay there, otherwise lengthening your stance as you shift weight onto the front foot and scoot that back foot back. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front, front hip back, back hip front. Now bringing hands onto our shoulders, relaxing our shoulders and squaring heart front. Now walking the fingers one over as we clasp the hands behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. And then keeping that sense of space in heart and throat chakra as we stretch those hands high. From here, pulling silk threads, breathing in, breathing out, cactus arms. We'll do this 6 times. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out, and holding your cactus arms, rippling those fingers, keeping our hands supple. Feels so good. Moving towards our warrior 3 balance challenge. Hands find the hips as we spin the back heel up. Either one big step or a couple of steps in. And then when you're ready, starting to pour weight into that left leg as if you're pouring water into a bucket, the back foot gets light. We could work low, we could work less low. Hands can either stay on hips or letting those arms hang, just letting those shoulders relax. And keeping the knee of the standing leg bent, dynamic balance here as we start to swing the arms front to back. You can always tap down. Balance is a process, it's not a steady state. And then very naturally, very organically, as we sweep those hands front, real energy in those fingers, it's going to help with the balance. And then maybe lifting the face. So look through those hands as if you're holding a large glass ball or a large glass mirror. Remember the magic mirror? Mm-hmm. All right. From hands on hips, from hands in front, we'll bring hands back to hips. Softening the front knee as we take either a big or a small step back. Coming back to our, where are we? We're turning warrior 1 hips into warrior 2 hips as we steer the hips sideways, finding one long arm and maybe kicking the back foot in just a tad. From here, painting rainbows, breathing in and breathing out, warrior 2, 6 times, breathing in and breathing out, keeping it flowing, breathing in and breathing out, channeling your inner sea anemone here, breathing in and breathing out. We'll hold this last one, breathing in and holding that reverse warrior, reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib, breathing into that space and spreading our fingers wide, mimicking those ribs as we find more space in our hands. Big high five. Low 5. Down low.
Too slow.
Too slow. Now we'll turn our reverse warrior back into warrior 2. Now finding our rainbow warrior. At home you might grab a strap or a towel. We want to feel some clearance as we open up those shoulders. And then leading with the heart as you take that deep forward fold inside the front leg. And again, you can park the torso on the thigh. Let the torso hang free. So we hold the shape, a little neck check, a little swing. We don't want to hold any tension in our neck and shoulders. Swaying it, moving it. Whoops, maybe not too much. A sudden gust of gravity. Awesome. And then letting that tension drain down through the crown of the head into the floor. Now we're in our rainbow warrior. I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as we stretch out the back of our neck, bringing it on up. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, back to our warrior 2. Finding extended side angle, backhand finds the hip. We can ground the forearm on top of the thigh. And again, some of you all, you can bring the hand down outside the foot. For most of us, we need to raise the floor with the brick to keep the the up energy and the down energy balanced. 3 steps on the top arm. We can just let it hang down to the floor as we relax that shoulder. Now stretching the arm away 90 degrees as we find more space in that shoulder. And then sweeping that arm front. Awesome. Long through that back leg, the torso, the arm, the fingers. You might even turn the hand in a little bit as if your hand were a mirror. And again, when you do that, you don't want to keep the brow smooth. Yeah, keep that third eye clear. Awesome. From here, we're going to work with that top shoulder as we circle the hand back, tracing it with our eyes, inhaling, exhaling, letting it soften. 2 more times. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now taking those circles the other way. Inhaling as we lift that arm high. Exhaling, letting it soften. 2 more times. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then 1 more time for good measure as we find our extended side angle, holding that shape. And feeling free to keep 2 feet on the floor. This is a wonderful stretch. Or finding your half moon balance as top hand finds the hip. So we're moving towards our half moon when you're ready.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Sorry.
Either 1 big step or a couple of steps in.
For some reason, I heard a bind in my brain, but
A
I'm
bind,
not
yeah.
doing that.
I don't usually teach the binds.
Good. I don't know.
Setting your-
Obviously, I
Yeah,
went away from the class for a moment in my
it's all
brain.
good. All right, so top hand's going to rotate those ribs.
Sorry, everybody.
So rotate those ribs first, and then get the shoulder. And then stretch hand time. You want to think arm and shoulder together. So the more the arm moves back, the more that shoulder opens up. So a lot of us probably could do less arm and a little more shoulder.
This is why they call it a yoga practice.
Yeah. It's, like I say, it's a process, not a static state of being. Awesome. Beautiful balance. So I was going to offer the option to bind the moon. I think we're a little too close to the windows, so we're not going to do that. Top hand finds the hip. We can soften the front knee for a big step back or a couple steps back. Finding your warrior 2, 1 long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that mixture of steadiness, still relaxed. We call it the taxi driver look. You want to get your tip, but you also want to get paid. And from here, a big windmill of the arms. There's different ways to windmill. Make sure it feels good as you find your low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Take your time. Find your flow. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling, folding again. On the inhale, stay low, finding your chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead, flat back, nice. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, glutes engaged, supporting that half back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to face camera as you bring hands to heart. This time adding an isometric engagement. So we press the palms together, elbows wide, shoulders engaged, a tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of your center. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown. Let's bring hands to the back of our hips, the fingers face down, and just circling those hips for 1 and 2 and 3. Let's take those hip circles the other way for 1 and 2 and 3. Let's pretend we have an extra set of hands here, keeping our hips stable as we find a cross-shoulder hug. We'll circle our shoulder girdle for 1 and 2 and 3, taking it the other way for 1 and 2 and 3. Now back to center, arms in the air like you either do or don't care. We circle the hips one way, shoulders go the other for 1 and 2 and 3. Now taking it the other way for 1 and 2 and 3. And then back to center, hands by our side. Hands find the hips, shifting weight onto the right foot. Let's cross left foot over right for a cross step here. Arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling. On the exhale, keeping the knees soft as we find a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we fold and hold Relaxed neck, heavy head, letting your shoulders slide down towards the floor. As we hold this cross-legged forward fold, any amount, I'll invite you to circle those hips. And then taking those hip circles the other way. Now at home, you can stay just as you are. From here, Kathy, I'll ask you to go sideways as you unwrap the legs and find a low lunge, spinning back heel up. From low lunge, keeping back heel lifted, we're moving towards high crescent lunge as you bring hands to your hips. And then finding your balance. Find your balance. And then keeping that back heel lifted as you stretch those hands high to the sky. From here, moving towards a twist. Right hand catches right hip. That's the hip of the front leg here. You're going to find length on the left side. Yeah, that's the back leg side. And then you're going to reach, 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 keeping length through both sideways as you find your twist. We can start with the wrist, sliding to the elbow, finding your prayer hands, either looking down off to the side or up to the sky for your twist. Your twisted crescent lunge. Yeah, beautiful. We're twisted, we're balancing, still breathing. Long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. Now coming out of your twist easily as you frame front foot with both hands, and from low lunge back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, yogi's choice. We're going to work that moving plank again. So inhaling forward to plank pose. On the exhale, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. 2 more times. Inhaling forward. On the exhale, drawing it back. Take your time here. We'll hold this last one. Inhaling forward. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath. Breath in. And then on that exhale, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. And we'll start the sequence. From the top of the mat, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to arc the back when you arrive. On the exhale, arching the spine as you fold. On the inhale, finding your chair pose, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, hands by your side. I'll ask you to face camera, Kathy, as you find an intertwining of the fingers, keeping the heels of the hands together as you try to pull those fingers apart. Elbows wide, shoulders engaged. A tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of your center. And then lifting the chin whole through the crown. Hands find the hips as we either step or jump our feet wide, 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 so our outer hip width apart. Softening the knees as we make 2 fists with the hands, the palms face up. Twisting at the waist, we'll punch out with the left, exhaling. Second side, punching out with the right, exhaling. And back and forth. Couple more times each way. Let's hold this last one as we squeeze, 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 squeeze. Inhaling through center, exhaling and holding as we squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then back to center, releasing the fists. Let's play the piano a little bit here. What song are you playing?
Ukrainian national anthem.
There you go. Can you sing it for us?
No, I don't know it
Not
well
yet.
enough. I have to learn
Let's
it.
learn it, yes.
Learning it tonight. We'll sing it next week.
And then back to center, hands by our side. So we're going to shift weight onto the left foot. We're going to take a big cross step as right foot crosses over left. Arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we fold and hold. Relax neck, heavy head. Letting those shoulders slide down towards the floor. As we hold the cross step, any amount, I'll invite you to circle your hips, inviting more prana, more vitality into the nooks and crannies of our hips. And then taking those circles the other way. Awesome. And then back to center at home, stay just as you are. Kathy, I'll ask you to go sideways as you unwind the legs, finding your low lunge. Awesome. And I want to keep that back heel lifted as we bring hands to hips, finding your balance. And then keeping that back heel lifted as you sweep those hands out to the side and then high to the sky. Beautiful. So you might even lift that back heel a little bit more as you bring that hip a little bit forward. Just square the hips. Nice. Yeah. How's that feel?
Good.
Awesome. So we're going to move towards our twist. We're going to be left hand to left hip. That's the front hip in theory. Finding length on the right side, far side, reaching up.
I think it's actually, this is my left hand.
So you have, I don't know what happened, but in theory, you've got left foot front, right foot back. Maybe you did the other side.
Yeah, you did the other side first.
Okay, so make sure you're on the second side at
Yes,
home.
I am.
We can start with the wrist. We can slide to the elbow, finding prayer hands. Those cross steps are challenging. That's why I like them. They challenge me as a teacher too.
I didn't know my right to left till I was in 6th grade, so I feel your pain.
There you go. So we're twisted, we're breathing, we're balancing. Deep full breaths. One more long, smooth breath here. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, coming out of the twist easily as we find our low lunge. And one more time this morning, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, yogi's choice. And then we're going to really chill it out here.
Good. We need to.
You need to, huh? So from down dog, I'll invite you to find your child's pose as you land the knees lightly. I'll invite you to have the arms in extension, keeping the elbows lifted as long as you can as you heavy the forehead through. Yeah, really go long with those arms, stretching out your shoulders. And then you can let the arms relax as you just settle into the shape. As we hold this child's pose, I'll invite you to gently rock your body side to side, finding your belly breath. As you breathe in, letting your belly massage your thighs. As you breathe out, letting your thighs massage your belly. Now, keeping hips and heels just as they are, I'll invite you to find a side bend as you walk your hands to one side. And now walking hands through center and finding that other side. Just feeling the stretch in sideways. Now bringing hands back center, walking our hands back in. Let's bring our feet off to one side. And let's do a long, slow roll down onto our backs, finding the top of your mat, starting from your tall spine, your neutral spine, Frankenstein arms, and then finding C-spine as you tuck tail and chin and slowly roll yourself down. When you get down, a full body stretch, arms by the ears, not too low. Want to keep the ribs soft and drawing in. Low back's going to lift. And now pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs as you bring hands by hips and walk those feet in. You bring your feet in, yeah. Keeping the back pressed into the mat as you draw one knee in towards your heart, the other knee follows. Hands catch the shins or cap the knees. Pressing the inner knees together, you have to get tight. You're just going to circle your sacrum any amount. This is my back relaxation sequence. And then taking those circles the other way. Now coming back center, I'm going to trace two circles with the knees. The knees are going to draw into the heart. They're going to separate out to the side as they rejoin down by the navel. In working these circles, I'll invite you to exaggerate the undulations of the low back. As the knees draw in, low back grounds, tailbone lifts. As the knees draw out, low back lifts, tailbone grounds. And then taking those circles the other way. And a couple more times like this. And now we're going to trace those same circles, but one knee is going to come in, the other knee is going to drift out. I call these egg beater knees. That's it. Notice how this asymmetrical action of the legs stabilizes the low back and pelvis, almost like we're walking. And when we walk, we want that low back and pelvis to be stable, solid, and rooted. And then taking those egg beater knees the other way. Hey, Taz? Who doesn't like egg beater knees? No matter what species you are. And then egg beater knees come back center. I'll invite you to pressure back into the mat as you move towards your Shavasana, long through the legs. Watch out for the pooch.
She's perfect.
Arms out to the side, the palms face up. Scooting the head back as you flatten the shoulders. And then you can relax that low back as you find your natural lumbar curve. We won't be here too long. We'll see if we have any late joiners here. All right, welcome, Ruth. All right. Yes, we do remember you, Catherine. All right. So I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. At home, feeling free to stay in your Shavasana. And I'll invite you to move your mind before you move your body, bringing your attention back to your breath. Watching as it flows in and out, like watching a river as that river flows by. From this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath, varying the ratio between the inhale and the exhale as you find a long, slow breath in, followed by an even longer, slower breath out. Finding a more relaxing breath with longer, slower exhalations. Keeping this more relaxing breath, inviting more prana, more vitality into your bodies as we gently ripple fingers and toes. Inviting that prana in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. Connecting with your own innate sense of well-being. Now pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs as you draw one knee into the heart and the other knee follows. Using your thighs to gently massage your low belly as you gently lift and lower the low back and hips, front to back, side to side, little circles, whatever feels right and good for you. From here, reaching back with a hand, keeping the neck relaxed as you lift the head to tuck the chin. Keeping the chin tucked, the hand comes back to the shin. I want to keep Tazi safe here. And you're going to start to rock yourself front to back to front, massaging your spine. And then popping on up, finding a cross-legged sit. I'll ask you to face the camera. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to settle your shoulders. Long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to bring one hand onto your heart, the other hand on top. Ending our practice as we started, listening and feeling as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I'll invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you at home for practicing with us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Tazi.
And as always, Namaste sounds so much like have a nice day, and we'll see you all real soon.
Have a nice day. Love you.